Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second qualifying event of the Kenco Formula One Championship here in Bahrain, in the south. Oh, sorry, the Middle East. I'm joined today with Sam in the commentary box.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of the Kenco Formula One League, and we are in Bahrain this week.
Yeah, Bahrain, prolific for its tight racing line and quick straights for those engines to definitely show themselves off. Last week, it was the Alfa Romeo of Max Chapman who was on pole, and following him was Haas and Alex Hughes, but he has got a 5-place grid penalty this week for a collision that happened under the safety car last week with the person who qualified P3, the other Alfa Romeo of Casper Meech. So it's going to be interesting to see, first of all, where the people who qualified first last week came, and then also where the people who didn't really qualify that well came as well. Obviously, we know about Joel, we also know about Dylan.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Q1, Q2 were wet in Australia, so this is going to prove very different in Bahrain, where we can expect the dry heat of the desert.
Yeah, and it's a dry qualifying today here in Bahrain. So without further ado, we'll get into it.
Yeah, it's good to see some dry track for them to run on today.
Definitely so. There's not many people that are going to be struggling in these conditions, but nobody out on track already. So what do you think the strategy is for today?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's a more normal session compared to last week, obviously, with it being dry, so you can expect maybe 1 or 2 runs, maybe more if there's mistakes made on the lap.
There's the Renault, I think, that's going out first. I'm not sure who it is, folks, but we'll get your information with that. And we've also got the AlphaTauri of Dylan Hartley going out as well.
Yeah, definitely look like the Renault of Robbie will be first out the pits today to try and set the fastest lap.
Just so you guys know, the numbers have been fixed. We've got Robbie Welsh in the Renault. Does no longer say Hartley. So we've got Hartley and Welsh out on track at the moment.
Yeah, very nice. Obviously keen to get out on track, set those first laps in, trying to prove themselves, which is great to see.
Red mark soft tyres for Dylan. As far as I know, that's not the strategy to go for today. So is that just to secure his position in Q2?
Yeah, obviously Q2 is the session you're going to want to be careful with the tyre choice, whether you want to be on the soft or the medium. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And Dylan, again, sporting that yellow and red striped Spanish themed helmet. Obviously, he's one of the only drivers on the grid today from that country, so he's going to be definitely going to be trying to show his worth, trying to show to the Spanish fans why he is the best out there on that grid. Last week, not making it into Q2, never mind Q3, and a bit of a shocking performance from himself. He's said to the press reporters in post-interview that that's not what he wanted to do, and is he going to be pushing himself more this week?
Yeah, definitely. He was very disappointed with the result we had last week in the qualifying, so I'm sure he's going to be pushing even further this week, trying to get out of Q1 at least, and probably try to get into Q3 as well.
And Williams, again, not participating in this session today. We've got one of their drivers absent, so they're going to be starting at the back of the grid, unless Alex in that Haas goes lower than P15. If he doesn't make it out of Q1, then Alex will be last with that 5-place grid penalty he sustained last week.
Yeah, definitely. As our first line laps are starting now with the Renault of Robbie and the AlphaTauri of Dylan.
Dylan looking to get straight onto that power as he comes into the first corner. He might want to try and take it easy. You know, these tyres might become useful later on in the race, obviously, with maybe a safety car happening in the first couple laps or towards the end. We've seen engines here. They've not been that sustainable. It's a very, very difficult track. It's got sand in the air, so the engines can't take up those particulates, and also it's quite hot and dry, so the engines are really, really gasping for their air. Obviously, these are not naturally aspirated engines. They have turbochargers that work their flywheels to get the power coming out of it, but still, Dylan setting a fastest sector 1. He is the second one out there on the hot lap, so not expecting anything amazing as of yet, but trying to test out this track, and he's clearly the fastest one so far.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, great first sector from Hartley in the AlphaTauri, going about 4/10 quicker than the Renault of Robbie. So yeah, great start for him.
Yeah, Dylan is the one to watch today. I think maybe the AlphaTauri team are looking to get a better start than last time. Obviously, Parc Ferme is on. Parc Ferme is where all of the cars have to maintain the same qualifying setup that they do in the race, and it really limits the teams as to going for their flat-out ability. The teams can't go as fast as they could, but the teams also have to think about their race strategy and if they want to preserve those tyres. And those red marked soft tyres are going to become useful, like I said, if there is a safety car. So Dylan may think about coming in this lap, or he may go for a second hot lap of sorts, as Dylan, as we did expect, goes 6 tenths faster than Robbie Welsh.
Yeah, obviously a great first lap, 1:26.9. It's a great benchmark for him. Obviously, we'll be expecting to improve on that as the Haas of Alex Hughes does go P1, beating by about 8 tenths. Obviously, that's quite a big margin.
It doesn't look like Dylan was going his quickest there. Obviously, in the dry, the drivers are really set apart, and we join Mr. Joel Foxhall on his outlap. He's also one of the two looking to get out of Q1.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Joel had a similar sort of qualifying to Dylan last week, not what he wanted at all. So he's going to be pushing very hard this week, I can tell.
If we look at those tyres, we've got everybody going out on soft so far in that first session. Like I said, it's going to be the strategy, I think, is medium hard, but what would you do if you're out there?
Well, obviously in qualifying Q1, especially, you're going to be on the fastest tyre. And if you're not expecting to use the soft tyre in the race, then yeah, I would definitely go out on the soft tyre in Q1. But obviously Q2, Q3, where it's tricky, you need to judge whether you want to be starting on that hard and medium or that soft tyre, depending on the strategy you aim to run in the race.
The conditions are a lot different to last week, with it being 24 degrees Celsius and the track temperature 29 degrees Celsius compared to last week of 24 track temp. Obviously on those wet tyres as well. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. I think one of the drivers may have just had a slight off and put themselves off that track, maybe losing a bit of wing.
Yeah, potentially. It might have just been Joel triggering it by going quite slow towards the end of his out lap, but now he starts his hot lap crossing the line going towards turn 1. This is going to be interesting a lap to watch on board.
Yeah, we'll go on board with Joel Foxhall. He's using full ERS. Just walk me through what ERS is.
So ERS, obviously, energy recovery system is going to give him that extra boost, about 10 more horsepower, I believe, to power him down these straights, which obviously in Bahrain is so important.
Yeah, in Bahrain, how many straights are there? Two or three?
Yeah, 2 or 3, obviously, to the start-finish straight leading towards turn 1, which is one of the slowest corners on the track. So yeah, the straights and the ERS are going to be very important.
And how do drivers help preserve that ERS? Joel going 80% after just the first 3 corners.
Yeah, obviously there's different levels of ERS deployment you can use, and obviously recovery also. So you're gonna want to be balancing between the recovery and the deployment. But on a qualifying lap, you're gonna be expected to use as much deployment as possible. But whereas on a race lap, you're gonna be wanting to conserve that ERS energy. But yeah, he's looking great at the moment.
Big lockup from Joel there into turn 9. That's very, very, very tricky braking point for all of these drivers. Joel doesn't go quite as fast as Alex in that first sector, about 6 tenths down.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that turn 11, 12 sort of complex is quite tricky, easy to spin on that curve. But yeah, not as fast as I was expecting. But you know, it's only his first lap. He has a lot of time to go yet.
And then also, you want to, if the drivers are going for those medium marked compound tyres, how is that gonna affect them with their finishing time as Foxhall goes P3?
Yeah, obviously, if you're going to be running on the mediums, you're going to be significantly slower than everyone else on the track with the softer tyres. Obviously, the softer tyres are much stickier and stick to the road much more, to give you much more grip, powering you, making you able to power through the corners much quicker than other drivers. So yeah, it's going to be a significant difference if you're running the mediums compared to everyone else on the softs.
And for the outlap, we have his teammate Wilson coming out of those pits. Number 72. What do you think of Wilson? His performance last week, coming back from P20, I believe he finished P15.
Obviously, a pretty decent first race from him. He started P15 and finished P15, so you know, obviously he had a consistent race, you could say. But no doubt will be pushing for further this week and potentially even for the points.
How is Bahrain different to Australia?
Well, Bahrain is like a completely different track. Obviously, you've got the turn 10 and turn 11 coming up after this straight that Joel's just about to come on. But yeah, there's a lot of off-camber corners. I think turn 4, that's an off-camber corner, very tricky. And obviously turn 3, a lot of lateral load going through the car, so it really heats up those rear tyres. So yeah, it's a very tricky track and completely different to Australia. Not as flowing and not as fast as Australia, other than the straights, of course.
And the data from the safety car says that those medium marked tyres are going to be about 4 seconds quicker overall than those soft marked tyres. So the strategy in Q2 is going to be very, very different compared to whether teams are going to think about a safety car or a 2-stopper race, maybe even a 3-stop if there is a safety car. That can always put yourself up, well, because personal best in Sector 1, 2 tenths slower than Alex, which is quicker than, I believe, Joel has gone, so that will put him P3 at the moment.
Yeah, obviously some great sectors coming in from the drivers at the moment, just trying to get to grips with the cars and the track. It looks like Joel is going to go for a second time lap on these soft tyres, which is an interesting strategy. Obviously, with the high track temperature, these soft tyres are going to become used very quickly.
It's 24 degrees outside, so not the hottest, but if you think about the time that it is outside, it's 11 o'clock here in Bahrain.
Yeah, of course.
24 degrees, that's almost what we get at a normal race at Silverstone.
Yeah, exactly, and especially if we look at last week with the rain in Australia, that was similar sort of track temperature. But considering, yeah, it's what 10 in the evening here, it's considerable temperature considering the time of day it is.
How would you say that's going to affect people like Dylan, who have grown up in a hot climate? People like Dylan, people like Andre, and you know, people who are used to racing in the hot climate, and you know they've been born and bred to race like that.
Yeah, of course, it probably would suit them in some sort of way. Obviously, they're used to the way the tyres grain differently in the high temperatures versus people like Casper or Josh and the McLaren that have grown up in the cooler climate in Europe. They're used to potentially driving the rain more than those that are used to the hotter climate. So yeah, obviously these drivers have different specialities when it comes to where they've grown up and where they've done their junior series.
P1 and P2 are both sitting back on their lead there. Neither of them trying to go out for that second lap. Are they trying to preserve tyres, or do you reckon that they're just going to go out later in the session when the track has got a bit more marbles on that racing line, a bit of the grippy rubber, it's less green, some of the dirt's been swept away?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just hearing from Sky Race Control that I need to correct myself that Casper in the Alfa Romeo grew up in Dubai, so obviously he's used to the hot temperatures that we're talking about. But yeah, I think these drivers are going to be coming out later, potentially more grippier track, obviously more suitable for faster times, which they're going to be aiming for, of course.
Max Chapman puts himself on P1 with a 126.1. It's not the quickest lap we've seen so far, but is he preparing himself for the later qualifying sessions?
Yeah, obviously we know how strong Max is in that Alpha. Last week P1, obviously great time from him. You know, we know how strong Max is, so yeah, it is expected, you could say.
Now, there's a DRS train coming up from P8, P18 and P19, so we've got both the McLarens and the P8 of Dylan Hartley in a line. They're just all going to be getting each other's toe down onto that straight. So O'Mara, he didn't have the greatest session last session. Then also Forbes, he went P3 for about 10 laps that race.
Yeah, of course, that strategy of Forbes and McLaren was not very good for him. He obviously lost a lot of positions, and as we said last week, the overcut was so powerful in Australia. So yeah, he did lose out on that aspect. But yeah, Josh and the McLaren is going to be getting a lovely tow from the AlphaTauri up ahead, and it looks like another McLaren. So yeah, he's going to be a great double tow, which will be helping him on the straights.
He's just gone about a second slower, 7/10 slower than Chapman. So obviously it's preliminary, it's his first hot lap, but is that a sign of things to come with O'Mara already drifting about 3/10 behind his teammate?
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, I was speaking to the drivers beforehand, a few of them, including Josh, struggling slightly. So yeah, that could be something that is expected, unfortunately, for him. But you know, still got 5 minutes left. He has time for another run after this.
And we've just got a message from the fans in the chat that all of you out there supporting Joel, you're all saying that he's going to get into Q3. So what do you think about Joel getting into Q3 after his performance last week?
I think it's possible. Obviously, it was such a shock for us to see Joel not in Q2, let alone Q3. So you know, I can expect to see Joel in Q3.
Just there as we see Dylan backing out of that hot lap, and he's probably going to go for a second one, which is, I don't know, is that a wise strategy on old softs?
Looks like he might be coming into the pits. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend coming on softs again, but yeah, looks like he might be coming into the pits to change the tyres for one more run just before we go for our final runs in Q1.
And we've got 4 drivers still in that elimination zone that could improve. We've got Ben Mitchell in that Mercedes. He crashed out just a few seconds ago. I think he may have tapped the wall, and the mechanics are saying it's going to take longer than 5 minutes to repair that. So unfortunately for him, that means that he, unless the drivers below him, he will be out. Unless the drivers below him do not improve, he will be out. He's 1.4 seconds slower than P1, and he's not going to be able to improve on that, which is not the situation you want to be in, as Middelfelt gets the toe of O'Mara.
Yeah, obviously that's a real shame for the Mercedes drivers. Started P12 last week in qualifying, I believe. So yeah, that's a real shame for him. But yeah,
We go on board with Charlie in that red Ferrari. So he's quite quick, but not as quick as we've seen him in previous seasons. Oh, and looks like he might get blocked of Robbie Welsh coming out the pits. Robbie gives him enough space, but is that just enough dirty air to put him out?
well, this is the issue of doing hot laps when other drivers are coming out for their out laps. You're completely out of sync, so Charlie's not in a great position here. You probably can expect some more traffic coming up as well. So yeah, not a great position to be in. But you know, as going back to your point, Charlie's obviously a very naturally fast driver. But we haven't really seen that sort of speed in the F1 league yet. But you know, we may see it in this session or sessions to come.
Remember, folks, not tomorrow, on Sunday, you can vote for your driver of the day. It's so it's Kenco.tv /vote. So it's KencoAviation.tv /vote, and then there you can vote for your favourite drivers on Sunday, depending on their performance. Obviously, last week we got Joel as the winner from his outstanding performance, coming back from P20 down into P8, was it, I believe?
Wait, are we live? Okay. Hello everyone, I believe we are back. Apologies for the slight technical error, we are fixing it. We are now into our Q2 session. We will be able to show the game in a few minutes, you just have to stand by for that. We've just had a few technical issues, but we are now into Q2 of our Bahrain qualifying.
I think for the moment, folks, we're going to turn it into a radio station.
Yeah, that's probably a temporary fix. With 8 drivers out on track. The Haas of Toma is one of our first drivers out. Currently going through turn 9, the tricky turn 9, turn 10 section. You can expect to see some increasingly fast laps in Q2. We have quite a few drivers on medium tyres, which we were alluding to earlier, with strategies, as the Alpha Tauri Dylan Hartley looks like he's about to go through turn 4. Also on the medium tyres. So yeah, this can be an interesting session for strategy. We have the Ferrari of Titan on soft still. So yeah.
Just out of curiosity, who was eliminated from that Q1 session?
That is a great question. Stand by for that.
Folks, we're trying to get back in. We won't be 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and we should be back in, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Oh no. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But we had the 2 McLarens eliminated for definite. We had the Racing Point of
Oh, one person
James Wilson.
one person I can tell you who definitely got eliminated was Harper in the Williams.
Yes, that is also true because he didn't start. Yep, that's a good one. So yeah, as our drivers are going towards the final corner, turn 15 to start their first flying laps, we have the Ferrari of Titan starting his flying lap.
Folks, I'm very pleased to announce to you that we're no longer a radio station. We're back in the session, and we'll get
That's
going.
good news.
We'll get going as soon as we can. But in the meantime, we're gonna have a chat with the McLaren of Josh O'Mara. So we'll go to the McLaren box and we'll see if we can try and get a talk with him in a second. But for the meanwhile, we'll try and get the stream back online. If all of you lovely watchers at home could tell me what you think to the stream, if it's the quality that you're expecting. Sorry about the delay, we couldn't help that, it was unavoidable, but hopefully what that means is that we'll be back online, online with video for the start of Q2. Right.
And we are joined by the McLaren driver, Josh, who was unfortunately eliminated in Q2. Josh, what happened?
Well, everyone's faster straight away in dry conditions, but yeah, it's very interesting. I went into the pits because I had less fuel, and just couldn't get back out in time with all the animations, how long it takes. But yeah, it's really depressing.
Yeah,
Did
sorry.
you find it?
Sorry, go ahead.
Were you finding Bahrain much quicker than Australia? Then would you say?
I mean, the rain really helped. Cause everyone was a bit slower in the rain, but yeah, I'd say so. But the dries were good, I guess, but everyone had a great advantage for them.
Yeah, of course. What's the strategy do you feel going forward into the race now? You're starting in P19, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to think of that over for the rest, say Saturday and Sunday before we start. But yeah, I'm still trying to work on that.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's great to talk to you and thank you for coming in. But yeah, I wish you best of luck on Sunday, of course.
Cheers, mate.
No worries.
Sorry on behalf of everybody here from the Skypad. We just had notification that the stream did go down. The broadcast went down for about five or so minutes, so sorry about that, and we'll work to try and sort out any issues going forward.
Yes, apologies for that, but we are back and we are in Q2. Obviously, we've had a few timed laps with Titan in the Ferrari in P1 and the Ferrari of Charlie P2. Titan with a 126.5, so obviously we saw some quicker lap times in Q1, but it's expected to see Titan in P1 as he is on the soft tyres with the majority of the other field on the mediums other than Charlie.
The Ferrari boys in P1, P2.
Yeah, obviously that's good, but slightly artificial because they're both on the soft tyres. So yeah, they're gonna obviously have a slight advantage, but maybe they're thinking of going for a different strategy in the race.
I wonder if
to see.
I wonder if the Tifosi will be down here in Bahrain, cheering them on in the hot sunny weather. In what's the month today? It's January.
Yeah, obviously Tifosi renowned for being one of the best fan bases in the world, so I'm sure they will be here supporting the Ferrari guys as per usual.
I tell you what, I think they may have a deal on their hands, the Tifosi, with the man that we're currently spectating, Joel Foxhall. His fans have been outstanding lately. I mean, and when I say outstanding, I mean, wow, they have been coming to every race. They've been doing everything they can to put him on the top step of that podium.
Yeah, definitely Joel has some very supportive fans, which is great to see for him. And he's out on the mediums right now trying to set his first flying lap of Q2. Obviously, great to see him back into Q2. It's what we expected from last week, but yeah.
What does that mean for the title sponsor? Oh, as Joel just has an out there down into turn 8. That's unusual to see from the youngster there. I'm not sure what happened. Did he lock up into the corner?
I don't know. It looks like he has been struggling slightly with lockups, potentially finding it a little bit tricky to get the right brake balance through Bahrain, which is understandable because there's so many different types of corners. But yeah, it looks like he lost the rear end slightly, but might also be due to the medium tyres and the less grip your experience on them compared to the soft.
Everybody except the Ferraris running those mediums, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that obviously alludes to why they're in P1 and P2 potentially. We obviously saw faster times on those softs in Q1s from the likes of Max and the Alpha. So yeah, those Ferraris obviously have some pace, but slightly artificial because they are on the softs.
We have got two soft runners at the moment. We got the apologies, 1 second. We've got the Haas of Hughes and the Renault. No, sorry, correction. The Williams of Andre. They're both running the softs, but I think obviously Hughes down in P7. I think that may have just ended up being a pace lap.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen some incredible pace from the House of Hughes. Obviously P2 in last week's qualifying and obviously P2 in Q1. So yeah, we can expect to see some faster lap times, no doubt.
Alpha Tauri's main man, Hartley, number 9. Number 9 in P8. That seems weird that we should be saying he's in P8 considering he was P16 last week. Or P19 in the end he did end up. But at the end of Q1 he was P16 and he just got forced down because of he couldn't get onto those inters. But he's also on those yellow marked medium tyres. So for you, do you think mediums and soft could go to the end?
It's a tricky one. I think starting on the medium tyre is definitely the better option compared to the softs because you can only run realistically only run a few laps on those. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the strategies on Sunday. For me, probably lean towards the medium hard option because tyre wear in Bahrain is.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt you there, but Hartley setting a personal best sector 1/10 slower than Titan. If he keeps on setting this lap, he goes P2.
Obviously, great lap from him so far, which is great to see. Obviously, Titan on the soft, so to be only 1/10 down on the mediums is great to see. So yeah, some good lap times.
Sorry, you were saying about the strategies.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting on Sunday to see what strategy, but I would personally lean towards the medium hard option, I believe.
Do you not think? What would you do if there was a safety car?
That's obviously a interesting question because it depends when the safety car comes out. But I don't know. It's going to be very circumstantial, I think, and I would expect them to go medium hard.
We see there Hartley leaning on that brake into the corner. That's put him about a second slower and doesn't affect his time at all. He stays P9, so he is one place safe. Is that enough? Is he doing enough to put himself P9 on those medium tyres, or do you reckon he should go out on the softs?
I believe he will have to do another run, whether it's on the mediums or the softs. I think he's going to have to do another run. We've got the likes of Joel in P11, obviously going to be wanting to creep into Q3. So yeah, he's not safe at all.
I don't think any of the drivers are safe, because look who we've got in that elimination zone. We've got Foxhole, Salaman, Middlefell, Rinser, all drivers that made it through to Q3, or could definitely make it through to Q3 in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're all going to go out for another run just to be safe.
And the tyres, we do see Rinser and Salaman on the soft. I believe they have not set a lap, which is why they are coming out, but Rinser is on those soft tyres now on his out lap. Actually, this may be his hot lap, I believe, so he goes personal best in 2 sectors. He hasn't set a lap yet, so could he go faster than Andre in P10? Oh, he doesn't. He is 1.3 seconds slower than the leader and just narrowly misses out on the elimination zone.
Yeah, that's not a great lap time from the Red Bull of Rinser there. He obviously is on the soft, so compared to his rivals around him, he's on a much faster tyre. So yeah, he's going to have to go for another run, I believe, if he wants to have a chance in Q3.
What do you think to the number 62 of the Williams, Andre, P10, outlap?
P10 Andre in the Williams, yeah, I think he has some potential. Obviously, his first lap was on the medium, so similar to the guys around him. P10, obviously, a good lap, only 6/100ths behind the Alpha Tauri of Hartley. So yeah, potential for Q3, definitely.
Welcome to all of the fans joining us from around the world. welcome everybody who's joined us from from East Asia to West Africa and up north in Europe and Americas. It's very, very nice to see you all here today, and I'm so glad we could get the show back up and running after our technical glitch at the end of Q1.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, looking like a great qualifying so far with some great lap times. So yeah, very glad we're back up on the air.
Andre Abreu going about 2 seconds slower on his previous lap, so he's going to be looking to get himself out of that in danger point, because Ian in P3, he's on those red marked soft tyres as well, and we see 7th, 8th, 9th, 10 all going for a safety run on those soft tyres.
Yeah, that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether these guys commit to that soft tyre, or whether they brake towards the end of the lap to make sure they don't go faster. It will be interesting to see whether they want to start on that soft tyre, which I personally wouldn't, but you know, it's open to different strategies for them on Sunday.
There's a big lock up there from number 62, Abreu, trying to get himself out of that in elimination zone now. He's P11, 1.2 seconds slower than the leader with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go. We are looking for someone to head this race up, for someone to make their way into Q3. Obviously, the Q2 will be the tyres that you use. Your fastest lap in Q2 will be the tyres that you use if you are not in the top 10. So P11 through P15, they will have free tyre choice as to whatever they want. So that might be a strategy for Andre to come in the pits and save his strategy for tomorrow, get the fresh mediums.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, P11 is great position strategically because you still have that free tyre choice, but only one place outside of the top 10. So yeah, P11 is also a pretty good place to start, other than obviously getting into Q3.
And we will join the pole sitter from last week, Max Chapman, number 22, 2 ducks, on his hot lap. He is on the red marks soft tyres. It's not what we were expecting. Everybody came out on those mediums, but do you think Chapman's just going for a safety one, or do you reckon he's there's a big pile up. I believe that may have been the Alfa Romeo of Meech and Abreu. They think they may have had a coming together down there in Sector 1, but oh my goodness me, that looked dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to affect a lot of lap times as well. Obviously, with the yellow flag in Sector 1. Yeah, don't know what happened there, but that's never good to see.
And that is the end of Q2. So anybody that has not passed the finish line already, they need to set that lap. And Salamanca's P3, that's his final thing for Q2. So Foxhall, he's going to have to improve his... Joel is going to have to improve that lap if he wants to get through to Q3.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he's on P2 now, 126.7. So yeah, great lap from him into Q3, which is great to see.
That's the Joel we know on the softs,
Yes,
going P2, but Titan's still retaining that lead, P1.
Yeah, I really don't know what happened with the 3 drivers that retired from this session, but yeah, it looks like there was an incident coming out of turn 3, I believe.
Titan securing his lead by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, obviously a good lap time from him, only 0.2 slower than the fastest we saw in Q1. So yeah.
No sweat from the Ferrari driver, and not going 0.2 quicker than Titan. Overall, that 2 personal best sectors, no fastest sector, but he gonna go P1. Oh no. What was that? I'm not sure if I'm seeing that right, but did he just have a brake failure? He was coming up to the line, and I think he was gonna go P1, but he slammed on those brakes. Is that a strategic call? Was he called into the pits at the last second, or... I'm not sure about that one, but that looked a bit dodgy.
Yeah, I believe it was what we were talking about earlier, with the guys backing off at the end of their lap to make sure they secure their fastest time on the medium so they can start on the medium. So I believe that is what he's done there. It looks like he did set his fastest lap on the medium tyres.
And we'll go and have an interview with the... We'll go and have an interview with Casper, who was P3 last race and has put himself P10 for today. So we'll get an interview with Casper, the person who looked least in doubt today, but most in doubt for the race tomorrow. So, folks, thank you again for joining us for Q2. Very, very soon we'll be going to Q3, and that is where drivers can be setting their pole laps for drivers to be able to set their quick laps, their hot laps, the one that means it all. It's Q3 is the best, and the best session for drivers to show where they are. Joel P2 after his P16 last race, and it's very interesting. And we're gonna see how things play out. So, sit tight, folks, and we'll be in Q3 in less than 3. And here we are, folks. Q3. The one that means it all. There's 9 cars out on that track. There's not 10 today. There's 9 cars because only 19 participants today. They are all out on track except Foxhole and Charlie. So we're really going to see what these drivers have in them today. We're on board with Titan, the man who went P1, the man who's looking to go pole, the man who thinks he can do it. So number 19, that's a very interesting number to see there from the young driver of Titan, and him flapping his DRS to say hi to the Tifosi there in the stands. Obviously, we talked earlier, Tifosi, the best fans in the world, let's just say, of any sport that I can think of. Tifosi are the best, but as Titan rounds the turn, rounds one of the last corners, coming through one of the last turns, and he starts the first. Oh, and the Renault of Robbie Welsh overtaking onto the last corner. That seems odd. Maybe he was trying to go for the toe, but that's going to compromise Toe's lap and maybe also Hughes' lap. Oh, that's not good. And yeah, Titan has to go in those pits. There's no way that. Well, that's probably going to be looked at by the stewards, that lap there. There was probably seemed a bit unfair there. And Hamill making it into Q3. We will go and have a word with Ian after the race, and he obviously the face of this competition. He is the one that organised it. He is the one that we all know and love. He's got the DRS open currently, and he is chasing down Salaman in the.
Hello, I'm back with you in the commentary box, and I'm joined with the Red Bull driver. Sorry, not the Red Bull driver, the Alfa Romeo driver of Casper.
Hello, Casper.
Yeah, hi guys.
What happened? Just tell us what happened.
Well, I was set to get through, you know, I was top 10, I had a good enough lap. I went for a soft lap in case I needed it to get through. And turn 1, someone spun out, and yeah, crashed into them, DNF me.
All I saw,
Not much I could do.
from the commentary box, we just saw you. We just saw you go back, and we saw you come round turn 2, and you were T-boned with the Williams of Andre.
Yeah, I think he was rolling back onto the track after the incident, and it's pretty frustrating, you know, because I was still the last of DNF, and it put me in the top 10. Top 10's supposed to get through to Q3, and it's only put 9 people through, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's. I think that may be because your car DNF'd, and obviously, the cars won't be repaired in time. So I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that may be because of your DNF.
It's just really frustrating to get a good qualifying run ended. I was feeling really confident, getting around some quick laps, and to have it ended by someone who spun out, it's really frustrating. But there's not much you can do with that.
What do you think to your competitors of the Red Bull? I think some sly tactics there. He was going to go P1 by about 4/10, and to preserve those medium tyres, he slammed on the brakes before the finish line and possibly compromised others' laps behind him. I don't know about if you saw that, but it was, yeah, it looked a little bit ambiguous.
I don't know, but if it was off the racing line, then he's completely entitled to do that. I can understand it. If it didn't block other people's laps, then, you know, it's fine, because the medium-hard strategy around Bahrain really does have an advantage. So, yeah.
How is that going to help you? Your teammate currently P1, and you're not going to be in that top 10, which means you have a free choice of tyres. You're going to get new mediums, new hards.
Yeah, I'll be on the new mediums, but I don't think it'll make a difference because you can stretch them really far out here in Bahrain. So I don't think that'll make a difference, especially if there's a safety car and everyone has a box. My strategy's pretty much been,
Is there anything you're
been
hoping
destroyed for this race. So.
Is there anything you're hoping for from the fans or from the other teams this weekend?
Well, I'm just hoping for a clean race, you know. My race was effectively ended on lap 2 last week, completely out of my control once again. Seems like I can't get any luck at the moment, but yeah, there's not much I can really do except hope for a clean race and try and get a few overtakes on the first lap, and then keep up the tempo because I now have some pace over some of those guys in the top 10. I think I can qualify about P4, P3 if I went on my best lap. So yeah, all I can do is try and fight back.
Sam, anything to add?
Well, no, it's a real shame for Casper. He had some great pace in Q2, but I'm sure we'll be able to see something great on Sunday, right, Casper?
Yeah, we'll see, as long as I don't get taken out on lap 2 again, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Casper.
Cheers, guys.
And you join us back with 5 minutes left in quali. We've got multiple requests coming in from off-call that maybe the fans don't like the interview screen. I'm not sure about that, folks. Obviously, it helps production and on our end, and I think a few of the fans quite salty that they're not going to get to see their best racer, Joel Foxall. So maybe we'll send a word through to the cameramen to stay off of him, eh?
Yeah, that might have to be some disciplinary action, but obviously we appreciate every bit of criticism we get. But yeah, 5 minutes left to Q3. P1 max 126.0. Obviously, some great a great lap time from him.
Yeah, Joel, obviously we've got the most passionate fans here on the grid. Obviously there's going to be clashes between some teams. We've already seen some things from the fans of the Red Bull team and the fans of the Racing Point team. So, you know, it's always going to happen. Inevitably, when one person supports one team and one person supports another team, then it's always going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. We've obviously had some great fan support so far in the Kenco F1 League, but yeah, we're here for the racing. We're here for some great lap times, and that's what we're getting so far in qualifying.
And Joel is trying to get the last bit of the toe of Casper Knopp as he comes into the pits. Joel and Robbie are the only two people out on track at the moment, both of them sporting those red marked soft tyres. And what do you think Joel can do from P5 where he is currently?
I would hope that he would go further forward on those soft tyres. Obviously, he's about 5/10 away from P1 at the moment, but you never know. Obviously, we know how much pace Joel has, but it seems that he's slightly struggling with the lockups that we're consistently seeing.
I'm not sure about myself, but do you know what the red lights mean on the back of an F1 car?
Do I know what the red lights mean? Yes. Well, it's sort of linked to the ERS and how they flash when they're recovering that ERS energy. So that is what they are used for, and obviously in the rain as well, they're used so the drivers can see the back of the car.
So I always thought myself that it was just if they were collecting ERS, but I've learned recently that it's also when they're deploying it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that myself either, but yeah, you learn something new every day, I guess.
Yeah, thank you very much to the fans who have written into us and told us that is the case. We wouldn't know it without you guys. Obviously, Sam being one of the veteran racers, he has raced these cars, but before ERS was a thing, probably Kerrs back in your day, Sam.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the good old days with V8s.
Yeah, V8s. Oh, sound of those engines. But Joel looking to improve his lap as he comes onto the pit straight. I think he may have backed out or is just going to go for the third lap.
Yeah, he seems to like setting several laps on these soft tyres, potentially trying to get them up to the optimum temperature. But you know, it's quite a warm track temperature, about 22 degrees at the moment. So I wouldn't necessarily see the advantage in that. But you know, Joel's it's a great established racer, so obviously he knows what he's doing.
And Joel looking like he's going slower again into there, so there's not enough time for an outlap. I don't think. Not enough time for an outlap. Joel probably left in P5. The man I want to watch is Alex Hughes. Is he going to come out for a second lap? Is he going to try and take pole?
I think Alex definitely has it in him, or is very close to taking that pole away from Max. You know, we've seen him P2 last week, very close to the Alfa Romeo of Max. So yeah, I think he has it in him, but it's going to be close.
I think as much as everybody dislikes Mercedes and wants to see someone else win, I think we're all secretly rooting for this man, number 34, crossing that start-finish line, Ian Helmore.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a massive fan favourite, as we can see in the chat right now. But yeah, the beautiful black Mercedes being driven around Bahrain under the lights is it's a great sight.
The black arrow of Ian down into turn 4. He's going to get wide on the exit. That's quite interesting as to why he's done that. That may hamper his time, but those red marks soften. Chapman is on provisional pole. He goes 125.5. Chapman puts himself faster than his last lap, so that's going to be interesting. And very, very good lap from the young driver. Hughes just on his outlap, as we've said. Will he have time to get himself onto that finish line?
That is a mega lap from the Alfa Romeo of Chapman. 3 purple sectors, 7 attempts faster than P2. That is an insane lap. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be hard to beat.
And we see the DRS flap open. So, what is it? 7 kilometers an hour down the straights. The DRS flap gives you.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a huge advantage.
I wonder what the 3, the white, red, and the blue, white, and red stripe on Alex Hughes' helmet mean. He's not French. He's not from the Netherlands. So, what significance does that have? Is he paying homage to Romain Grosjean, the car that he has occupied, the seat that he has taken? Obviously, last time we saw Romain Grosjean here, he unfortunately had an accident. So, Hughes, do you think paying respects to him?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it'd be good of him to do that. Obviously, we saw that horrific accident of Grosjean, but he is recovering well, which is always great to see. But yeah, let's see whether Hughes can match that of Max.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Casper Knopp, he's just missed out on Q3 by about 0.3 of a second. Oh no, he's just gone out on the new tyres. He's gone to try and set a quicker lap, and he's just missed the checkered flag. He's taken it. He's taken the checkered flag.
That is a real shame for the Red Bull driver. That is not something that he would have wanted at all. He's obviously not going to be able to compete with Hull, so it's going to be a P2 for him by the looks of it, unless the Haas of Hughes can improve.
And there's a yellow flag in Sector 2 from that Renault of Robbie Welcher. I think he may have had a suspension failure going into Turn 10, and the marshals have swiftly cleared that away. Salaman goes P3, putting himself, and Titan P2. Nobody challenging that provisional pole of Chapman here in P1, 125.5. Closest person behind Titan with a 125.7. We see those trucks that have just cleaned up. But Hughes going fastest in Sector 2. He goes about 0.2 quicker, and onto the final straight. Sector 3, he should be backing out, but Hughes just misses out by 0.01 of a second. Hughes P2, but with his grip penalty, he put it down to P7. So that's an absolutely amazing qualifying from him. Unless Foxhall, Charlie, or Hanmore can dethrone him. Hanmore's in the pits. We've got Charlie. Yeah, I think that's the end of qualifying for today. But Joel, P8, unless he's managed to get out. No, Joel, not out on track. That is an absolutely stellar qualifying from Hughes, and I'm sure he will be glad to see himself in P7, even with notwithstanding his grid penalty.
Yeah, obviously a shame for him to be getting that grid penalty, but to get within 6/100ths of the pole sitter, it's a great effort from the Haas of Alex Hughes.
Absolutely amazing stuff. So, folks, that's the end of the qualifying session, but don't go anywhere. We're going to get some interviews. We're going to get an interview with the pole sitter, Max. I think we're going to sound like a broken record after this. Max, the pole sitter. If you want to see the results, it will be set at the end of this session. All of you will see it. It'll probably be posted to the Kenco F1 Discord if we can. And but thank you for joining us. It's been very nice to see you all. And on board with us, our pole sitter, Max Chapman, number 22, in the roaring red, Alfa Romeo Ferrari. Hello, Max. Hello?
Hello.
There we go. Sorry, we had some technical issues there. You were just a bit quiet coming on our end. Right, tell us, what was going through your mind when you saw, when your race engineer was giving you that information, Alex, Alpha Shotgun, goes fastest in Sector 2? Hello, Max?
Yeah, it really did make me
Apologies, guys. Looks like we're having some technical issues.
Go-
Looks like we're having some
Oh.
technical issues from the Mercedes garage, maybe. Last time we had technical issues in the Mercedes garage at Sakir, there was a pit stop that cost the Mercedes the race, but the Alfa Romeo, hopefully, of Max Chapman will not be having the same ones today. Max, are you with us again?
Can you hear me
Hello.
now?
Yeah, I think we're hearing you loud and clear. And just tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, I got really nervous. I didn't really know what his last sector was going to be, so I still felt a little bit comfortable, and I knew that he had a five-place grid penalty. So
Did that always mean you were
Sure.
going to be on pole?
no, I didn't know how fast the others were going to be. Haven't seen any of them race, so I didn't have my hopes extremely high for first, but I knew that I was going to be in the top 5 at least.
What do you think to your competitor Joel coming back last week? He was P16. Very, very good performance from him today.
Yeah, done a good job, especially as last week he qualified in 16th.
What does
Bounce back?
what does that mean for races going forward then?
That he could be a good competitor to us, could really trouble us later in the season.
So I think Joel going P8 there. He's half of the positions that he was last week. He puts himself a second behind you, which is a second a lap. Do you think that you're gonna do that and do it again?
I mean, I don't really know. He could be fast around some tracks. I don't really have much to say about pace, so
What do you have to say
Yeah.
about what do you have to say about your teammate?
I'm disappointed because he could have been in the top 5, top 7. Could have made more points, made it easier for us tomorrow, with him closer towards the front. Yeah, I'm extremely annoyed because he has good pace as well. So
All right, thank you very much, Max, and good luck to you on Sunday.
thank you.
And we'll go with the person who joined him on the front row of the grid, Alex. Unfortunately, you won't be joining him on the front row of the grid. You should be joining him on the front row of the grid, but with your 5-place grid penalty, you're down at P7. Good qualifying today. You put yourself really in the maximum position where you could. You didn't do anything wrong today, I don't think.
Yeah, I was quite happy with that lap. It's good that I'm starting on the medium tire as well. Certainly helped with getting through and everything. So very happy with that now.
What are you looking to do in the race? P7, you're still in the top 10, so you can't change your tyre compound.
Yeah, I actually did Q2 on the medium, so that's how I did that. But yeah, it'll be strange to see how the strategy folds out.
Is there anything you're looking to see from your competitors tomorrow?
Not particularly. I think it'll be a good race as usual. The pack seems a lot closer in the dry, so it'll be interesting to find out.
All right, thank you so much. And unfortunately, your grid penalty means you won't be starting in the front row of the grid, but I think you've shown everybody your pace today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Sam, we're gonna go ahead and talk to the Williams of Andre, who I believe was eliminated in Q2. So he got himself through into P13 today. Sam, if you want to go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, definitely. Andre, how do you feel like your qualifying went today?
Absolutely terrible. Not what I was expecting. I was definitely expecting, by the pace of Q1, I was expecting Q3 at least. I went on the mediums, they were feeling terrible for me, and just about lap. I sincerely apologize to all the Casper fans out there. That was totally my fault, and let the AI do its thing. And yeah, obviously I just wanted to get into Q3. It's the second time in a row. Really stupid.
Yeah, obviously you sound a bit upset about that, but obviously starting P13, you're gonna have a free tire choice on Sunday. Do you feel that strategy is gonna be an important part of that race?
I mean, I think I may just start on the mediums and try to overcut everyone on the soft stats. Try to go on Q free on the soft side. I would have gone into Q free on the softs, not on the mediums. But I think I've got some tips from some people, and they say that the medium hard strategy seems to be the best. As the mediums felt, I feel like maybe I'm not going to go for the hards because the mediums just felt absolute garbage.
Interesting. And lastly, what do you think you can do on Sunday? Do you think you can get into the points?
Hopefully, yes, and I also really hope for the best for my teammate who is starting from the back. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to Q2 qualifying, and yeah, hopefully I get some points, and maybe I will.
Thank you very much for that, Andre, and best of luck for Sunday.
Thank you. Equal.
Sorry, folks. So that's it. That's it. So it's Max, Alex, and Titan starting on that front row of the grid, because Alex should be starting P2. However, his 5-place grid penalty would put him down to P7. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to this this stream. Obviously, we had some connection issues, and thank you to all of you who stayed throughout those issues. And we'll hope to see you on Sunday, I believe. And just to clarify, folks, I'm not too sure who got 10th, but we're getting some questions, so we'll go to an intermission screen. But until then, we'll see you on Sunday. Thank you from me, and on behalf of the Sky crew, thank you for tuning in.